Hello friends, welcome to a brand new reading vlog. So my reading life has been a mess. It's the 29th, or is it the 30th? It's the 30th. I have not finished a book since The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which came out on the 19th. Woo! I did attempt to read a book, but I DNF'd it at 34%. I'll talk about it briefly. This just came out this month. It's called The Trouble with Hating You. I can't remember the author's name, so let me look it up. The Trouble with Hating You by Sajini Patel. This is like an enemies to lovers kind of romance. Both of the characters are Indian. So this book follows two characters, Laya and Jay. Laya is like this strong, independent woman. She works for like a biotech kind of company. Her father is like super strict and I guess traditional would be the right word. He very much wants her to get married. He wants her to live up to, I guess, what is traditional Indian culture. I'm not entirely sure about that because as you see, I'm not Indian. But Laya is very progressive. She like lives on her own. She isn't interested in getting married. She really does not like her father, but she loves her mother. So she kind of has this like struggle there because her mother is a very traditional wife, I suppose. Like she supports Laya and everything, but she listens to her husband, blah 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 blah. So her dad kind of tries to set her up without her knowing, and that is our second character, Jay. He's a lawyer, also loves his mom. We love loving our moms. But when Laya finds out that she is like being set up for like a marriage thing, she literally leaves, runs into Jay, like literally runs into him, but she's still like, yeah, I'm out. But then she finds out that Jay has been hired to help her company because it's in trouble. So they start running into each other anyway. Story goes on from there. I really wanted to enjoy this book. I really liked the little snippets of Indian culture that we got. I was hoping to learn more. From what I've seen in reviews, like there's mixed feelings about the representation. I do know it's Own Voices, so I guess like how much can you say? But I would look to like Own Voices Indian reviewers for like the whole conversation because it's not really my lane. I really liked Laya's relationship with her friends, and I liked the idea of Laya's character, but it was just such a forced, like, I'm strong woman, I need no man, men are the trash beneath my feet. Obviously, I love to see a strong feminist character, but not when that's like the character's whole personality and every page is just almost preachy to a point. I don't love using that word, but that is how it kind of comes off sometimes. Jay's chapters were fine. Like they did not interest me. They were fine, although there is one thing that happened that I thought was like really like unrealistic feeling. The writing just wasn't there for me. Like I said, I really wanted to enjoy this, but it just felt like it was trying too hard in some aspects and I couldn't get into it. Now, even though I wasn't reading books, that isn't to say I wasn't reading because your girl has been reading fanfics lately. Can't get out of the Hunger Games world apparently. I'm not gonna become like a fanfic tuber and like tell you all the fanfics I read, but there's this one that was so good. I was looking for like Credence and Finnick ones. That's my second ship for her and I really love them. And I found this one where like Credence had been in like the 73rd games, but everything was the same except that Peeta died. And so when she comes out to like punish her, they reap Gale and Prim. And it is just written so good. She starts a relationship with Finnick because he's also a mentor. And it was just excellent. Like it got the characters so spot on, and if you're looking for a Hunger Games fanfic to read, I'm gonna link that down below because it was really good. But finally last night I actually started a book. I started Harvest of Sighs by Sierra Simone. This is the third book in the Thorn Chapel series. First book is That's my dog barking like a maniac. The first book in the series is A Lesson in Thorns. You guys have heard me talk about this so many times, but if you're new here or you haven't heard, this is a book about these 6 people who spent a summer together as children at this kind of place called Thorn Chapel, which is one of the kids' like homes or like one of their homes. Like he's a rich kid, and they all find themselves being called back to Thorn Chapel for some reason. They're in like their 20s now. It is super smutty. If you don't like sex in books, don't read this because this is a lot. And it also has this like magical, mystical feel to it. I say this a lot, but it's like the Raven Boys, but for sluts. And yeah, this is the third book. If you remember my review of the second book, I loved it up until the very last line where she just threw something in that I was like, girl, what? Some people like don't care about it. Some people are really upset about it. I'm kind of in the middle. Like I wish it hadn't been a thing. But I also really love this series. series and the characters and the writing, and it's also freaking good that it's like, oof. So I'm really interested to seeing how this third book addresses that conflict, if it will be resolved in this book or the next book, which is going to be the last book. However, I do know that this book is going to focus more on two of the characters that we haven't seen so much, because like I said, there's 6. There's Auden, Poe, Saint, Beckett, Rebecca. What the hell is the other girl's name? I love her so much. Why am I? Delphine. There we go. I didn't have to actually look it up. So the first book I would say was like Poe's book. She was like our main narrator, although we did get others. The second book was more of Saint's book, but this book I think is going to be more focused on Delphine and Rebecca and their relationship. So this is like a series with LGBT characters, like every single character is bi. I think Sierra Simone has said that. Like it's not mentioned in the book, but they all are open to other relationships, and it gets polyamorous, it gets a lot of stuff, and there's also, like I said, like rituals and weird, like I think it's all like Catholic related, kind of. I really hope that I love this book. I love the cover, it's gorgeous. I also have a mini book haul to do, but I'm gonna do that later because I have to go to the store. Hello, it's been another long chunk of time since I've talked to the camera. Last night I finished Harvest of Sighs. To put this into perspective, today's the 8th of June, so yesterday was the 7th. Amazing logic, I'm so smart. The last book I finished was the Hunger Games prequel on May 19th, so every day I relate more and more to Jared. But Harvest of Sighs, third book in the Thornchapel series. I enjoyed this for the most part. Let me just say that I think this book has the most smut out of all of them. It was like, I don't know, it felt like almost every chapter. So I feel like there could have been a little bit more plot. Not that I'm ever hating on smut, because you know, but like it was just a lot. And you know, there was still that thing from the second book to deal with hanging over my head the whole time, so that was difficult. But I still love these characters and I still love the writing. It is so atmospheric that I realize that when I'm reading one of these books, it alters my headspace. Like I feel like I'm there almost all the time, like in this weird, ominous, magical place with all these like kinky characters doing all this stuff. I'm so bad at explaining what a book is about, wow. But it's weird, like I literally, it does something to my head, which I guess, congrats to you, Sierra Simone, I'll give you that. I really liked seeing Delphine and Rebecca's relationship evolve in this book, and I liked seeing their backgrounds. The fat rep with Delphine, so good. A+, Sierra Simone, another point for you. You lost a lot of points with that one thing that you know you did, but I'll give you a couple. I'm still a hoe for Auden, even though, and the end of the book has made me very nervous for the 4th and final book that comes out on Halloween. Just the fact that it comes out on Halloween, like that says enough. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It's not my favorite in the series. Like the first one is still my favorite. The second one remains unrated and we don't talk about her. And then there's the third one. So now I need to pick another book to read because I need to read again. I need to be a reader. I don't feel like one lately. I think I'm going to pick up We Are Okay by Nina Lacour. Had this on my shelf for a minute. It's very short. I believe it's sapphic. I think all of her books are. And you know, June, Pride Month. I don't know if the Thornchapel series counts as like good representation, but everyone in that book is queer, so that's one. And this can be 2, I think. I don't even know what this is about. I think a girl goes somewhere to find her friend or something. I'll give a better like summary when I actually start reading it, but it has an award, so that should mean good things. Okay, yeah, that's all I have to say. Hope y'all are staying safe and protesting and still donating and lifting up Black voices, all that stuff. Good to see that these protests haven't just like ended after a couple days. I think it's been about, I think on Twitter I saw like 12 days at this point, so keep it up, America. But we still gotta get Breonna Taylor's killers, murderers, those asshole bitches arrested. So also apparently you can't talk about Black Lives Matter on YouTube without them like limiting or cutting off your ads. What's that about? That's weird. That's weird. So I am 120 pages into We Are Okay. Let me give you like an actual accurate description of this book. So this is about a girl named Marin, and Marin is dealing with the loss of her grandfather, who was the person that raised her, because she also lost her mother at a very young age and never knew her father. So instead of sort of dealing with her grandfather's death and leaning into her friends and everyone back home, she takes off to New York, where she's going to be starting school in a couple weeks, and she's basically shut out everyone from her life. So at the start of this, it's the beginning of her winter break, and her best friend slash lover from back home, Mabel, is coming to see her. And she has, like I said, basically been shutting everyone out, including Mabel. And so now she's going to have to deal with everything that she has been avoiding. This book flashes back and forth between the present and, I'm guessing, just a few months before her grandfather died. So we're seeing her relationship with him, her relationship with Mabel, and how things are so complicated now, and how she's basically trying to deal with her grief. I just, you know, went and looked this up on Goodreads so that I could say that I was reading it. And I was looking at other people's ratings, and I don't know how so many people have rated this low, because I am loving this. A lot of people said it was like too slow and boring, but I am flying through. I literally have not read 100 pages of a book in so long. I think the writing is gorgeous. The way this is talking about grief is so beautiful and so sad, and the girl's an English major, and there's like so many like connections, and the way she discusses things that she's reading and how I think it's gonna just play back with the book and the themes. I'm in love with it. Plus, it's sapphic. We love to see it. I've only read one other book by Nina Lacour before, which is Everything Leads to You. And the year I read it, it was like one of my favorite books of the year. So I don't know why I waited so long to read another one of her books, but I'm definitely not going to do that again. I'm gonna get on all of her other books, because I think it's safe to say that she's gonna be one of my favorite writers, or she is already, because this is so freaking good. I'm so glad I picked this up. So hello. A couple nights ago, I finished We Are Okay. And yeah, what can I really say except I loved it. 5 stars. The writing was so beautiful. The way this explored grief and loneliness. I can see why it won an award, because it was just so beautiful in that like really subtle, soft kind of way. This felt how kind of like an A24 indie film felt. So I would love for them to do an adaptation of this. If you haven't read this, I highly recommend it. It's really short and fast, but it really packs a punch. Also one of like my favorite covers ever, I think, because just look how freaking beautiful. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I loved the writing, and I loved the characters. I loved the themes. I loved how everything was spoken about. I loved it. It was perfect. So I have edited this vlog up until this point, and I realized that I never did that mini book haul that I talked about. So I figured I could wrap this vlog up with said mini book haul. So I didn't buy any of these books because I'm not really buying books right now. There's a very good possibility that I'm going to be moving in August, and so I'm saving for that, as well as not wanting to bring a whole lot of new stuff into my life just to have to pack it up in a couple months. But I do appreciate 2 of my lovely friends sending me these books. The first 2 books are from my lovely friend Angela. We started talking because I think she watched, I don't know if she was just watching my videos or she found this video in specific and then started following me, but we kind of connect over the Thornchapel series, which is very funny to haul these books in this vlog because I've had them for a while, but just hadn't gotten around to actually shooting it in the midst of filming other specific vlogs. You get it. But yeah, we love to talk about that and just gush and talk about how we're in love with Auden and Beckett and all those people, and yeah, she's great. I'm gonna link her Twitter in the description. So the first book she got me is one that I already have read, and it was one of my favorite books of last year. So when I saw it, it made me so happy so that I could have my own copy. Serpent and Dove by Shelby Marin. I really need to figure out how to say that. I literally hate describing books in book hauls, which is why I never do them. So just a quick one. Lou, she's a witch. She gives it up. She runs away to a city where witches are hunted, ends up getting into a situation where she has to marry a witch hunter and hide her identity from him. Really good, really fast, really fun. The second one I have actually already read because I got an ARC, and that was in my previous vlog, so if you want my thoughts on that, you can check it out. But otherwise, it comes out, I don't know if it's August now or September, but very soon. The second book she got me is Credence by Penelope Douglas. I remember hearing a lot about this book when like it first came out. I think Chandler did a big like reading it in one sitting vlog, and then a lot of other people read it, and it has a lot of good ratings from what I remember. She's also pretty hefty. Wow, the font. I was hoping it would be a little bigger. I have no idea what this is about except that it's a romance book and that it has like a lot of like fucked up shit that happens in it. So I think it's one of those like dark romances. You know the things that go down in dark romances. I mean, like, come on. Ooh, this starts with a playlist. I'm so intrigued now. So yeah, I don't know when I'll read this, whenever I'm feeling for a spicy romance that's twisted. But I have heard, like I said, really good things. I've never read a Penelope Douglas before, but I know she's like a popular romance author, so I am excited to read from her for the first time as well. So thank you so much, Angelica, for these books. I love you so much. Also, I don't know if I called you Angela in that clip before, because suddenly I feel like I did, in which case I'm dumb and I don't know how to read. I feel like I want to let her know in this video if she's watching. In my head, I've always called her Ange because we started talking on Instagram first, and the way it shows her name in like the DMs, it only shows her username and it starts with A and C. So I was like, okay, I guess I converted the C to a G and said Ange in my head. Anyway, Angelica, shout out to you. You're probably the second baddest bitch with that name, only because Angelica Pickles, I don't know if we can top her. Then the next 4 books have been sent to me, not all together, in just like different points of time, from my lovely sugar mama best friend Whitney, aka Witty Novels. She always sends me either books that like she doesn't want that I want to read, or books that she wants me to read. The first one falls into the latter category, and it is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. I have read the first 4.5 books of The Mortal Instruments. I got stuck on the 4th one. It was like so fucking boring, and that was a hot minute ago, like 2013, because I was still in high school, or like I had just finished high school, and I never really wanted to continue. Part of me wanted to, just to like see what the hype was, because like Cassandra Clare's like everywhere, but I just never was like motivated. But Whitney specifically loves this trilogy, so does John Paul. They're always talking about Jem. Yes, Jem. They don't like Will, but I think most people like Will. So yeah, they really want me to read this, and I typically like what Whitney and John Paul like, so I wouldn't think that I'm gonna like hate this, but it'll be interesting to give Cassandra Clare another try. Then another one that I also wanted to read this book, but she read it and then like fell in love with it, and she was like, I'm giving you this, so read it. And that is Never Night by J. Christoph. We have to do the really bad New Zealand accent when we talk about it, like Jamie from Leo Reads. This is a fantasy book about a girl who is trying to get revenge on people. I think she's like trained to become a good killer, and she wants to get revenge for her family. I don't know if that's correct, but I think it is. I've heard really great things about this series. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this. Sorry, Whitney. But I am looking forward to doing so at some point. Then the next 2 books were books she was like getting rid of, or one she had an extra copy of, and she sent them my way because I wanted them. The first I didn't even remember asking for, and that is Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. I know Whitney read this and really enjoyed it, but it wasn't one she wanted to like hang on to. I know it's really sad. I think it's World War II. Oh, it's definitely not. Between 1854 and 1929, so-called orphan trains ran regularly from the cities of the East Coast to the farmlands of the Midwest, carrying thousands of abandoned children whose fates would be determined by pure luck. Would they be adopted by a kind and loving family, or would they face a childhood and adolescence of hard labor and servitude? Moving between contemporary Maine and Depression-era Minnesota, Orphan Train is a powerful tale of upheaval and resilience, second chances, and unexpected friendship. This sounds depressing. Can't wait to read it. Then the last book is one that I have already read, and she had an extra copy, and so she happily sent it to me. Thank you, Whitney. I love you. And it is the last book in the Chateau. I don't know what accent I'm doing now. Series. I almost called it a trilogy. Sadly, it's not a trilogy anymore. But this is the last final book. I read it like the day it came out. Imagine May. This was pretty good. I think I gave it 4 stars. I don't know if it was like solid as a book as a whole, or if it was mostly because the other books in this continuation series were questionable at best, especially Defy Me. So it was just like a step up, like expectations were down here and she kind of raised them a little bit. If you liked the Shatter Me series, I don't know if I could recommend the extension because it's kind of strange and unnecessary, but you do you. I'm glad it's finally done. Okay, so that was my little book haul and my vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video.